This will be the first part of a series of videos that will show how I'm going to try to build a dome, concrete dome, from cloth and cement and basically a plastic bag. I'd seen this video on the internet of a company that makes a cloth that's impregnated with cement. It's not actually a cloth, it's like I think it's a ceramic type of a cloth. It might be glass fibers or something. But it's just a mat, and when you get it wet, the cement hardens and it stays in that shape and should be pretty strong. So I'm going to try to do that with a roll of cloth I was able to get at the thrift store for very cheap. And some Quikrete. This is a flow chart that I made that will show basically the plan. Part 1, dig out a circular pit in the diameter of the dome that you want. Lay burlap or some other cheap cloth into the bowl that you just dug out, and dust some cement powder onto it. When you have it positioned how you want it to, mist water onto it to activate the concrete, or the cement I guess, and let it dry. Then lay a plastic sheet over it that extends a little further than the edge of the hardened cement impregnated cloth. Make a top piece of the plastic that can form a balloon that's basically the shape of the dome that you want to make, and seal it to the bottom piece of plastic that's laying in the bowl. You can use clear packaging tape for this, I think. You'll also need to make a piece of the burlap or whatever cloth you're using that's about the same size as the balloon, but you'll want it to be a little bigger so that you have some extra around the edge. You should layer the burlap and the plastic sheet together, and I think I already said, but seal the plastic sheet to the other one and lay the burlap over the top of it. Then just inflate it. Actually, first you're going to want to put cement onto the burlap, then inflate it. And it's probably a good idea to stake down around the edges into the ground. And once it's inflated, spray water on so that it will harden. Once it's hardened, you can dig out a ramp down to the level of the floor inside and cut a doorway. And using vaulted arches for all openings should make it be a little stronger, because you're not just supporting like a flat ceiling there. It should be pretty strong to have this shape. And cut windows as well. For windows, you could bolt on plexiglass around it on the outside surface. Then put more of the cement impregnated cloth over the outside of it until you get it up to the thickness that you want. And you can go around to cover up the edges of the windows. And for the last couple of layers, you can put overhangs in front of the windows and doors by having the edge of the cloth come to the right position to do this, and then just pulling a part of it out with strings and having a stick supporting up from the ground so that you get a point there to hold the roof up. So I'm going to try to make a small model of this, test if it works. That's what I'm going to do today. So I have cut several 2-foot by 2-foot squares out of this cloth. It was a very cheap cloth, and 2 squares slightly smaller out of this plastic sheeting. And marked out this 12-inch circle where I'll build a model of the dome building to show you what I'm talking about. The next step is to lay in first layer of the floor. I'm actually just going to do one layer of the floor for this demonstration. But this should it should seal out radon or any other problem gases coming from the ground, prevent rodents or anything from coming in through the floor, just make it a sealed structure. And you could also put insulation before this if you wanted to, but it doesn't matter for this model. So we've got that in. Now, this is the part of the process that's really an experiment for me. Because I've seen the cement impregnated cloth before, but I've never tried this. I'm just going to put some on here and see how it goes. This doesn't seem like it's the best way of going about getting it wet, what I'm doing right here. Should have a mister bottle or something. Try the shovel. Now that I'm doing this, I think it would have been better to get the cloth damp to begin with, and then sprinkle cement on.